Hello students, in this class we'll learn why we are writing this particular line. This is the same program which we use to understand why we are writing this. Like first we write the name of class, then we write the name of variable which will be the object, and then we write new keyword, and then we write again the name of class. Why do we do so? So this is a very common question that arises in your mind that while working, why we are writing always this. So let me tell you, dear students, new is a keyword which is used, yeah, whose task is to allocate space in RAM to that object. Means RAM में वो जगह बनाता है उस ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए. मैं फिर से आपको ये बताना चाहूंगा कि ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्राम इज समथिंग लाइक फर्स्ट वी मेक अ क्लास एंड दैट क्लास इज द डिजाइन and according to that design we create objects. Okay, let us take example of house. While making a house we first make a blueprint of it, and then if it is okay then we start building houses, or if we are setting up a colony then a similar houses are made, 10 20 houses are made there. So each house need a space, or if you are making a car then each car will acquire a space. So the same thing is done by new. This new keyword allocate space in RAM to this object 1. Then again I have given another name, any name, and again new first OP. So the new keyword allocate space in RAM for this object. Now how much space is needed? How much space to allocate? So to make this available, the amount of RAM, the amount of bytes required for that object, means if houses will be made, then it will require some space. No? If a car will be created, it need a space to keep it in a garage. The same way, if this object is getting created, then it also needs space. Then how much space is needed? How much space to allocate for this particular object? And this we tell with the help of this. कि भाई फर्स्ट ओओपी नाम का जो क्लास है, जो भी क्लास का नाम है, उसके मुताबिक या अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट क्लास you just allocate the space. Then go up and see what is the requirement of first OOP. Look, this is one class. We can make any number of classes. So this is the class whose name is first OOP. How much space is needed? So that is decided by the number of data. So we have three integers in global area. So one integer take 4 byte. So here 4 3 is 12 bytes. Then in object also needs some space, that is decided by the scanner class. So suppose it needs 10 bytes. Suppose exactly I'm not telling. Suppose it needs 10 bytes. So here 12, here 10, 22 bytes so far. If we are using any other local variables in the different functions, then they also need some space. Like so all these calculations are done, and accordingly space is allocated for this one object. Like understand this with the help of this Excel. Suppose 4 bytes, this is OB1, huh? How much space is needed? It needs 4 bytes. This is 1 2 3 4 bytes for N1, 1 2 3 4 bytes for N2, 1 2 3 4 bytes for R1, and for some bytes for I mean for this let us reduce it. So suppose this much bytes are needed for OB1, huh? This much byte. For OB2, same number of bytes will be used. Give it with another color, huh? ये पीला रंग का गाड़ी है, ये लाल रंग का गाड़ी है, like this. If you are making object 3 or any other name, we can give any name. This is the name of that object we are making. And since they all belong to the same class, Therefore they will all take the same amount of space. So look, this is car number one. Suppose we are making a car, then this is car one, this is car two, and this is car three. Suppose we are making a house, then this is house one, which take this much space. This is house two, and this is house three. And how much space they will acquire, or they have to take, or they need in order to work, is decided by the compiler when it checks the design of the class. And this is how, and this is why we write what? Every time new. And then only this object you can use. Look at this example. These these are just declared, these are not defined. These are the name of objects which are not yet created. They are only created, or they can only be used when we assign space to them using the new keyword, and we need to give the name of class कि भाई इस ऑब्जेक्ट को इतना स्पेस देना है, ठीक है, और इसीलिए हम यहाँ पर क्लास का नाम लिखते हैं. अभी जैसे आप देखिए कि इसमें हमने बहुत सारे ऑब्जेक्ट्स को डिक्लेयर किया है, बट हमने डिफाइन सिर्फ किया है बुलेट को, और उसी को सिर्फ स्पेस एलोकेट किया है, और हम बुलेट डॉट इनपुट और आउटपुट ये सब कर सकते हैं. बट अगर हम OB3 डॉट इनपुट प्रोसेस आउटपुट करेंगे जो हम यहाँ कर रहे हैं, तो it will not work. You may see that. So this is why we write the new keyword. So one more thing I would like to discuss here is, few of you might be thinking that here in the beginning I wrote this or these two lines like this: OB first OOP, or OB1 equals new first OOP, and for any name then. And in this case, I'm writing object name like this, and then why I'm doing so. Okay. So let me make this point clear with the help of one example. Suppose we normally write like this: int a, b, or n1, comma, n2, comma, n3. We do write it. Okay. This is valid. Fine. We can also write it like this: n1 uh, equals 30, n2 equals 60. We can also write like this: int n1 equals 45, comma, n2 equals 67, comma, n3 equals any number. So what I want to say is, this is also okay. These two lines are also okay. Line number 40 and 41 is also right way of defining a variable. And this is again the another way of defining a variable. It's okay. The same way, let us have come here. If we have made a variable n1 and n2, first we have made the variable, and now we are initializing it with 67 or any number. We do now. We first make a variable and then we assign it. We can do it at the time of making the variable, or we can do it like this also. So there is a similarity, or the same thing we are doing here. First, we are making all the objects that we want. We are just declaring. And after it has been declared, then since bullet is already declared, so now we are defining it. We are allocating a space to it. And since it is already, this name is already, let's look at this. Here, this name is already declared. So again, we do not need to write here first OP since it is already declared. So now we just need to write the name. And thus, suppose OB6 is an object. We want to define it, or we want to allocate a space to it. So now we don't need to write like this: first OP OB6 equals new first OP. ये हमें लिखने का जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि OB6 ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो चुका है, तो इतना ही लिखने से भी काम हो जाएगा. So this is the another way of doing so. Both are same. Both are same. So one more thing I would like to make clear here. All the time you're watching that we are writing OB1 dot input, any name dot input. What is this dot? दिस डॉट इज नोन एज पीरियड ऑपरेटर, PERIOD, पीरियड ऑपरेटर या डॉट ऑपरेटर भी इसे कहते हैं। ये सिर्फ ये बताता है कि हमें OB1 का इनपुट फंक्शन कॉल करना है, या हमें इस समय एनी नेम नामक ऑब्जेक्ट का इनपुट फंक्शन कॉल करना है। इसको अच्छे से समझिए आप लोग, इसी एग्जांपल समझिए। ये मान लो ये कार है, ठीक है, ये भी कार है, ये भी कार है। कार में मान लो कि 3 फंक्शन है, एक एसी का फंक्शन है, एसी चालू करने का, एक म्यूजिक चालू करने का, और एक और कोई फंक्शन तुम सोच लो कार में जो रहता है। चलो 2 ही फंक्शन याद आ रहा, 2 ही करते हैं। तो अगर हम लिखते हैं, या हम लिखते हैं OB1 डॉट म्यूजिक, तो इसका यह मतलब है कि हम OB1 नामक कार या OB1 ऑब्जेक्ट का म्यूजिक फंक्शन को इन्वोक करना चाहते हैं। अगर हम लिखते हैं OB2 डॉट AC, तो इसका यह मतलब है कि हम OB2 यानी कार नंबर 2 का एसी चलाना चाहते हैं। उसी तरीके से यहां पर अगर हम लिख रहे हैं OB1 डॉट प्रोसेस, तो OB1 का प्रोसेस फंक्शन कॉल होगा, और OB1 के डेटा ही यूज होंगे उसमें, OB2 का नहीं यूज होगा। यानी ये उसी तरह का हो गया, दे दे ऑल द ऑब्जेक्ट्स आर सिमिलर, ये भी सिमिलर, ये भी सिमिलर, ये भी सिमिलर है, बट दे ऑल हैव इट देयर ओन सेट ऑफ डेटा एंड फंक्शन। मान लो अगर हम ऑब्जेक्ट 1 या कार 1 में एसी चालू किए हैं, तो ठंडक कार 1 में बैठे लोगों को मिलेगा, ठीक है। अगर हम कार 2 का म्यूजिक चालू किए हैं, तो कार 2 के लोगों को ही गाना सुनाई देगा, इसको नहीं सुनाई देगा, ठीक है। मतलब समझने वाली बात है ये। एंड द पीरियड ऑपरेटर just tells us that uh, which function has to be invoked, or which function belong to which object, like this. The simple concept is there. If you're writing OB1 dot process, means we want to invoke the process function of OB1 object. If I'm writing any name dot process, then it means that we want to invoke the process function of the object whose name is any name. If you'll write bullet dot output, then it will invoke the output function which belongs to bullet object. So this is how the thing works.